Yep, you can actually get a tier 7 premium completely for free. Unfortunately, this is going to be the last possible weekend to finish the collection that can give you that, but the Kings of the Sea collection actually awarded me with this Lazao. And to get access to it, you have to go and complete the Kings of the Sea collection, which you can see in Profile, Collections, and all the way over to the Kings of the Sea one right here. And assuming you have completed all of these, you're going to be awarded with a premium ship tier 7 container. And something you should know is that the duplicates for this one are actually costing only 1. So every time you get a duplicate, you can actually buy one of these straight up. So all you need to do is get 16 total. So if you're someone like me and got pretty unlucky, I had to use a lot of these duplicates to finish this up. But at least it is a 1-to-1 trade. So it literally is 16 crates is all you need to open. Now, as far as getting these containers, there were a few in-game missions, as you can see. And the other way to get these missions really was to watch the Kings of the Sea streams. There was, I think, one that was just in the base game when you launched the game, but you had to be watching the Kings of the Sea streams, which will be going on this weekend. The final set of games is going to be played for Kings of the Sea 13, the international ones, so I'm going to be watching those ones. I'm pretty excited. I actually really enjoy watching the competitive side of this game. It's very different from random battles. You got to keep that in mind. But if you're watching, you will have the opportunity to get some of these crates. And if you complete the collection with them, you can get yourself a free tier 7 premium like this one. Before I talk about why I think Kings of the Sea is really interesting to watch and that maybe you should give it a shot, this is how I set up my Lazao. I really wanted to just go all out for damage, and with this gimmicky spotter plane, you can do a lot of damage very quickly. Like a lot of the mid-tier Russian cruisers, you get a ton of range already and pretty good fire chance with somewhat lower caliber guns. And this works really, really, really well at tier 7, and you get a lot of fires out of this ship. It's actually a pretty decent tier 7 premium ship if you know how to play the long-range kiting farming ship. You can burn down battleships very, very, very quickly, as you're going to see in this game. This was actually my very first one. But to talk a little bit about why I think Kings of the Sea is so interesting to watch, it's primarily down to there's nothing else like it in the game. Even clan battles, which is a game mode where you get to pick your teammates, it's really not the same, because the way Kings of the Sea works is you pick your teammates, you get to pick your ships for every single specific map, and you can come up with strategies and specific strategies based on each map. So these are going to be teams that have spent a ton of time fine-tuning their strategy for each and every map, and that's what you'll see this weekend, especially because these are the best of the best teams in the entire world. These are the people that won and placed highly in their respective regional tournaments. So you're going to see some pretty high-level games. Unfortunately, it's a little bit difficult to follow some of the time just because of how slow-paced the games are. People don't want to push, so just know that going into it, that you're going to find some of the matches that drag on a little bit long and wonder why there's really nothing going on. It's because the entire goal of the first 10 minutes or so of most matches is to get any sort of points lead. Even if it's 1 point ahead, cap tick, lead, anything like that. Anything to give you that slight advantage so that your team will win when the timer ticks out. And that's really what it comes down to. And it's a bit of a chess game. It's a bit of a risk versus reward. You're going to see little poking and prodding on each side of the map, trying to gain information. And for me personally, when there's no aircraft carrier to just give you that information for free, it's very interesting to see how teams go about figuring out what the enemy team is doing without losing too much HP, because there is an inherent risk with sending your destroyer in, right? If you're just going to send planes in, well, you can go spot very easily and then just recall them. It's very, very basic. But when there's no aircraft carriers, like in this Kings of the Sea, it becomes very, very interesting. And a lot of ships don't get spotted for quite some time. And I just love the strategy behind it. Really, that's what it comes down to. I love seeing the strategy, And then, of course, late game, once all of this strategy and small little advantages have been gained or lost, then a team is finally forced to push in to try and win the game, right? And that's when it gets really interesting. You get to see all the little strategies coming together, and then you get to see how the team that is at the disadvantage, forced to push in, how they're going to deal with the positioning and setup of the other team. It's a beautiful thing to watch. However, I think it does get a little bit confusing, and it's a little bit hard to follow sometimes depending on how well the person in control of the camera does at following the action. And it's hard. It's not easy to follow the action of some of these games, especially when there's a lot going on all sides of the map. So just cut the camera guys a little bit of slack. They're trying their best, that's for sure. But definitely give it a watch if you're close to finishing the Kings of the Sea containers. The campaign mission there, it is really cool to just get a free tier 7 premium. I think it's awesome. And personally, I really enjoy watching the Kings of the Sea casts as well. You can, of course, put it on mute in the background and you'll get your progress towards it. That can happen, and I've certainly done that for some of the group stages and some of the lower tier matches that I just wasn't as interested in, or I was busy with something else, that kind of thing. But give some of these ones a shot. These are going to be the really, really impressive games. Now for the Lazao, as far as this ship goes, I'm probably not going to play it all that much. Even though I got it for free, which is super cool, it's not a ship that I really enjoy the playstyle of. This whole sitting far back and spamming high explosive and getting fires, it's just not why I like to play the game. I like to play the game to brawl, close range battleships, big guns, lots of armor, that kind of thing. That's what I enjoy in this game. But that said, this is a very good ship. So if you do get this one or you have this ship, I'm surprised at how good this thing is. And if you're wondering about the spotter plane gimmick, it really is just that the cooldown time or the reload time of the spotter plane is incredibly fast. So you're almost always capable of popping a spotter plane and getting that extra range. So that's why I went for a more gun-focused build, running different skills that allow me to get more out of my HE and giving me better reload when people are spotted within my concealment range, that sort of thing. You have essentially unlimited range, so getting some of those skills that hurt your ability to play at closer ranges or hurt your ability to push in is fine, just because of this insane range that we have. Unfortunately though, unlike some of the higher tier Russian cruisers, you don't get a radar at tier 7 on this thing, so you're going to have to struggle a little bit with DDs, or at least try to help out your destroyers when they spot the enemy. That's something you will want to pay attention to, so it doesn't quite play the same as the light cruiser line as you go up the Russian tree, but it's still a very good premium and works very good as a captain trainer as well. I think that's the really nice thing, is tier 7 never faces tier 10s, right? So as far as getting a different experience or a good commander trainer credit earner, it's nice to not have to deal with tier 10 when you're trying to farm some of those credits at these lower tier, mid-tier premiums. Tier 8 premiums, of course, make more credits, but you do have to deal with that tier 10 matchmaker every once in a while. So playing a tier 7 can be a very, very good way to go. We're already up to 90k damage. We'll get there. But this ship definitely shines when people are forced to push into you. It's really, really good in these scenarios. And we don't take IFHE on this thing just because it doesn't actually pen 32. When they changed around the IFHE to be different depending on the tier that you're at, they made it so tier 7 150mm guns can't pen 32mm, which at tier 8 and above, if you take IFHE, you pen 32mm. It's very important just because a lot of the battleships at higher tiers have 32mm of armor. So for me personally, I value the consistency of that alpha damage over the fire chance that you get cut in half with IFHE. But not if I can't pen the major thresholds, right? So 32mm is a major threshold, 27mm is a pretty major threshold as well, 25 a little bit, 26, some of these mid tiers. So being able to pen most things at this tier, you get to pen cruisers and battleship superstructures. It's nice to retain that extra fire chance when you do meet these higher tier ships. Of course, no heal and pretty clumsy ship means you do want to play far back. But at least the gimmick of this ship definitely results in good games from the back of the map. So that's the Lazao. Probably the only time you're going to see it on this channel. But more than that, I really hope you guys enjoy Kings of the Sea. Maybe let me know what you got out of your Kings of the Sea container. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you have a great rest of your day.